We've been testing out firmware 1.3 for both the Canon R1 and the R5 Mark II. They're pretty much the same. And I just wanted to go through some of the changes with you and especially talk about some of the big features that are coming. So first of all, it's been super stable. I wouldn't worry about downloading it. We haven't had any issues as of yet. But firmware updates are exciting. They're kind of fun because you get some fixes for some problems, but also you get a few new features that are enabled. And a few of them we've been asking for a bit. So let's dive into it. First of all, at the top of the list, we've added American football in Action Priority mode, and that's to optimize human subject detection for individuals wearing helmets and shoulder pads. So Action Priority mode is here in the second autofocus menu, and you just need to go to Action Priority Enable, and then again choose American football. I actually really like the icon for it. It's kind of fun. Canon's actually updated the autofocus manual with this mode, and in the description, the actions that it's looking for are a carry, a pass, a reception, punt, kickoff, or a quarterback catching a snap, or and that's generally with people that are holding the ball above the waist. So if you really think about it, it's looking for offensive actions that would happen during a football game. And I'm telling you, if I could focus on a quarterback and then jump over and it would focus on the receiver who caught the ball and track them through a play, I'd be a happy man. So let's actually go out in the field and try this out. So I really want to test out this Action Priority mode for American football, but unfortunately, it's the off season. So let's just say compromises have been made. All right, so here's our setup. I'm going to go ahead and start recording. Okay, you can see I'm holding down the autofocus and the focus is just jumping to the person that has the ball. It's pretty quick. I don't think football players throw like that. Overhand. No, don't hit her in the face. Olivia, try to tackle her. I mean, it is what it is. All right. You can see it just jumps back and forth between them. When it does see the eye, it does try to focus on the eye. Go ahead and just hand her the ball. And you see it just jumps right over to Olivia. Hand back the ball. Good. Here it is, the handoff. You see the point at which the autofocus jumps is right there. Definitely, it's got a little bit of predictive autofocus going here. Okay, so look at this right here. The point at which it switches the focus during the handoff is right there. That's pretty impressive that it's able to capture it at that point. And when you actually have a running back during a play, as soon as they start touching the ball, it switches to them. That's going to make some great in-focus sequences. That's impressive. You can see that the autofocus box is on her and it's tracking her eye. That's good. Okay, do what a quarterback would do. So like kind of catch the ball, kind of like pat the ball. Hey, there we go. Okay. Look right, look left, pat the ball, pat the ball, pat the ball, and pass. Oh, that was, I mean, it went 3 feet. Set, hike. Hey, that did it. Followed her pretty well. Look at that. As much as it's tracking her eyes, that's impressive. 3, 2, go. Hey, that did pretty good. So one of the frustrations I've had in the past is people wearing helmets, I want to do a tight portrait of them. And the camera really struggles because of the face mask in front of them. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like here. Okay, so first of all, that's way better than it's been in the past. This is just with an 85. Okay, you can see right there, it kind of does struggle a little bit. Let's see how close I can get. Okay, right there, look, we have the eye in focus. Look straight on. I'm gonna just look straight onto the camera like you're tough, chin down slightly. Okay, see, it is able to recognize her. So that's good. And my close focus point is probably like right there. Chin down a little more. Chin down, chin down, chin down. Chin down. So right there is the close focus for this lens. Keep looking forward. Now what about here on the side? See, and right here, it's still struggling. The side angle has always been problematic. There's a definite improvement because it is able to actually see the eye inside the helmet, which is, oh, that's embarrassing.
I'm so sorry.
So much for being tough. You want any more sneezes on camera, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Good. All right, interesting. So, I mean, there's a definite improvement here. The major problem we have is the models. So we got to work on that. There isn't a whole lot that we can do to really test this out because we need an actual game or a scrimmage or something where there's lots of players moving in and out and crossing through the shot. So I'm really excited for fall camp because we're going to test this out as much as we can before actual football season starts to give you some recommendations on how well it works. So hopefully by the end of August, we'll have a video that gives kind of a little bit more in-depth test of action priority mode for American football. So the second feature we want to talk about is register people priority. And it says that it's improved tracking and detection for register people priority in challenging conditions. That includes profile views, blurred or partially obscured faces, small subjects, and children, even when set to off. So here's just a quick test to show you what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of Emma to register her as our priority because she is the priority. All right. And then, all right, so Emma, go ahead and turn in a slow circle. And you can see that the focus, even when she turns around, it stays with her. Good. Now go ahead and switch places with Olivia. And now do it again, but go behind her. Good. And now shuffle around with the other three, and then, good. And when, yep, you went behind them, and it still, for the most part, it stays with her. Good, and then just everybody settle there. And then Emma, turn around slowly again. Stays with her. So you can see there's definitely an improvement in tracking that prioritized person with Firmware 1.3. The next new feature that we have is they've added the number of connections to FTP transfer settings, allowing the selection of transfer thread count for FTP transfers. I wasn't really sure what that meant, so I actually had to run and check with Canon. And what they told us is if you come here in the FTP transfer settings and you go down to the bottom of the menu, it's kind of hidden here, it gives you the option for 1 or 2 connections. So what that means is that if your FTP server allows it, you can actually send more than 1 photo at a time. You can choose either to send 1 photo at a time or 2 photos at a time. Let's go ahead and put the R1 through the torture test and see if this helps. I'm going to start by doing the baseline test, 1 connection, and I'm going to send 5 full raw files. And Abby's going to time it and see how long it takes. So I have a few pictures of Aaron here working on his latest masterpiece out in the studio. So Abby, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 3. Stop. All right. So sending these 5 photos sequentially, it was 40 seconds. So that's just 1 photo at a time, 1 raw file at a time. It took 40 seconds to send them through this pretty fast local network we have here. So let's go ahead and do it again, but I'm going to change that setting. So we're going to come back into connection option settings, FTP transfer settings, number of connections, and we're going to 2. So theoretically, this should send more than 1 at a time and be faster. Okay, Abby, we're going to do it in 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, so there's 5 files. And done. 28 seconds. Okay. That's a pretty speedy upgrade for those of us that use FTP a lot. And again, it's crazy to send raw files. You shouldn't send raw files through FTP. It's not necessary. Mostly I'm sending a few megabyte size JPEGs. But if I'm sending a lot, like after a touchdown play or a big sequence, the possibility for it to multi-thread to send multiple photos at once, that's going to make me be able to deliver my images to my client quicker. And that's an awesome upgrade. Number 5, added the ability to store up to 4 color temperature values in white balance settings and assign switch color temperature to a customizable shooting button. Now, if you go to your white balance menu, you can see here, instead of just one custom setting, you have now 4. That's great for somebody like me. I could have one setting for the basketball arena, and I could have a different white balance setting that's preset up for a volleyball arena, and a different one for our indoor track. That's great. The only thing I would say is why not make it 10? But I'd like to be able to input and change the name to them so I could actually assign them to each of those buildings, or so that I could actually assign them to each of those venues. All right, so now we have number 7, added the ability to assign pre-continuous shooting to a customizable shooting button. Pre-continuous is a great upgrade for these cameras, and we got that in a previous firmware update. But immediately, right off the bat, we're like, well, why can't we assign a custom button to turn it on and off? Because you don't want it on all the time. And in fact, I would go to a baseball game and have pre-continuous on, and then I'd go to a dance or something else, and it would still be on because I forgot to turn it off. Because you have to go into a menu and turn it off, and it was just, I ended up having a lot of extra photos that I didn't need. So what I've done is I've come to my customized buttons menu, and I've just added pre-continuous. So that's the logo that it is. And I've just added it to this multifunction 2 button that's on the front of the camera. So when I'm out shooting, I can go ahead and just turn that on and off with just that toggle button. And that's great. That's what I needed. People have been asking this for a while, and I'm glad Canon was able to make it happen. Next, we have this update, added save to card and load from card options in register recall autofocus setting related settings, enabling autofocus setting transfers between cameras of the same model. So if you look in here in the autofocus menu in the end, click on register recall, and now you have the option to save to card or load from card. And again, when you have multiple bodies, you can just set up your autofocus once, save it on a card, and then send it to the other cards. That's great. Something I believe we used to have with the 1DX Mark III. But it's something that's going to be really helpful for those of us that shoot with multiple bodies. So the last one I want to talk about is they've added night display mode as a menu option. So this is what it looks like when you enable it. It changes your menus so that they're not quite as bright. You can use them in a darker environment. It is kind of funky. It's kind of like a dark orange color instead of being bright white. And yeah, if you're shooting in dark environments, you're shooting a play or something like that, or some type of performance, this is a good option to have. In fact, I wonder if this is something you can map to a button, and I need to go look at that. So that's pretty much it for the updates. A bunch of new features and a couple fixes that I think are going to be really helpful for us photographers. But really for me, the big one is action priority with American football. And we need to really test that out and find out if that is something that is viable to actually use during the season. So look forward to that video, and hopefully we'll be able to answer some of those questions that are still left. But if you do have any questions about this firmware update, please go ahead and hit us up in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you on the sidelines.